It's time for Stars on Sports,
a podcast radio show dedicated to sharing stories about our athletic program at Lansing Community College.
LCC Athletics has a strong tradition.
23 national championship wins.
Over 170 All-Americans.
19 MCCAA All-Sports trophies.
Stars on Sports will introduce you to individuals that have contributed to our program's success and give you the backstory on what it takes to develop it.
We'll also dive into and break down the topics and issues facing athletic departments across the nation and right here at LCC.
This is Stars on Sports. Hello and welcome to another episode of Stars on Sports. And today's exciting because Steven is on spring break down in Mississippi for some baseball games in warm weather. So I'm joined by Daedalian, our producer today. And, you know, it's exciting. Daedalian has been behind the scenes for our podcast for a number of episodes. And it's good to have him on the air because he provides valuable feedback. But his background is music, so I thought today we would combine music and sports and how much they're integrated. You know, Steven and I always talk about how music and sports are the two platforms that bring people together, and I like music as one of my ways to relax or debrief and calm myself. I was in the band back in the day, so I'm not afraid to say that. So I've always tried to have a good working relationship with the music departments in the high school setting or in college because they're an integral part of our college and the athletic department. And there are very similarities between the two. I mean, the music department, they practice every day and then they usually compete at a festival or a contest, very similar to athletics, practicing and then using that to compete and then reflect and either get graded. I remember back in the solo and ensemble days, you got a 1 or 2 rating, or even at a festival as an orchestra or band, you'd get a rating. That's similar to a performance in athletics. You either get judged by a rating in like gymnastics or you compete against another team and you do similar things in music. So there's a lot of similarities there today, and athletics relies on music for a lot of things. Student athletes, you know, rely on them to calm them down or pump them up. Administrators use them to fill time or to pump up the crowd, or so many different things. We start the contest with national anthems, and it's funny, I've been in this business for 25 years, and there's one that lasts 1:14, and there's one that lasts over 2 minutes, and some people get mad if you're not patriotic enough to play a very professional one, and some get mad if it's too long, and sometimes they don't work at all. I was telling Daedalian before we went on the air, I always joke, if I get through the national anthem, I'm good to go, because then it's in the official's hand to start the game, but I got to make sure the national anthem plays, and there's been times where students have said the wrong words and run out crying. There's been times where I've had it on my phone and it skipped,
like the student that was singing.
Yes,
for saying the wrong word.
We had a packed gym a couple years ago in a big tournament, and she just lost her train of thought. You know, and we've had some bad performances over the years that we went to getting recommendations from the music department and making sure the student practiced or tested before they came to them. Because I got a lot of requests saying, hey, I'd like to sing the national anthem for them. And you want to showcase your students'
certainly
ability, especially from other departments. And they're really good. It's much better than playing a recording or such. But yeah, there's probably been 2 or 3 times over my career where the student unfortunately forgot the words or got caught up. And you know, we've had they're performing in front of large crowds.
That's a nerve-wracking situation, no matter who you are.
It is. It's like public speaking, and you're doing it in the classroom in front of your teacher is much different than doing it in front of 2,000 people, which were. And she ran out of the gym crying, and, you know, we went to try and console her and take care of her. And you've seen it on TV and other events. And, you know, the backup plan is always the Pledge of Allegiance if it doesn't work. But it's the first thing of your event. You want it to go well. You want to start the event off right, and you want to be patriotic. There's discussion on should you do it before each game or just the first game of the night or the highest level of the night. And you get feedback on good or bad on why don't you play it before every game, or why do you only play it once, you're not patriotic and such. So it's a very important part of the event, and every sporting event across the country plays the national anthem. You know, we had protests a couple years ago during that, so you tried to figure out to make sure you're prepared for how to handle those situations. You have situations where you just want to make sure that it's played in the right way so that it's respectful to your country and the veterans in the crowd. So it's an important way to start to meet. There's discussion of not playing it. There's discussion of who needs to be out there when you play it. There's some level that the teams aren't out there for the national anthem. It leads in the other discussion of, if you have a band or a pep band that plays, and I'm a big believer of having your other departments on campus. I would love for us to get a pep band here at LCC. Some prefer just playing DJ music. Some schools hire a DJ for athletic events to play music. So there's a lot of different options, but it's very important. It's fun. When I'm athletic events, I was at a hockey game this weekend, and I'm downloading songs that they were playing. I think I need this on my playlist, and again, it's the way of music just making you feel good.
I would have never thought that much would go into the Star Spangled Banner and the process of that. And that's one of the things that I love about sitting in on the shows with you and Steve is listening to you guys talk about a lot of the things that I wouldn't realize goes into what you do. And that just isn't one of the things that I thought would be that big of a concern. You throw somebody out there, they sing, and then you're done. But it makes sense as you say it, yeah.
Yeah, you want everybody standing. Again, I use an instrumental by one of our military bands, usually is what I use to play. And you just want it to be right because it's important to many people. And it's to set the tone for the event, too. If something goes wrong, then you're thinking this is a good first impression. And that's the first thing we do at an athletic event. And then we go into our introductions. So, and then, it has to carry over to the rest of the event and to the point of how important music is. And as I talked about warm-up music, at the high school level, my principal would come to me at least once a year and want to cancel us playing warm-up music because he got a phone call because it was inappropriate and had bad words or bad connotations in it. And there's companies out there now that will provide it for you. Again, you can hire a DJ, but we usually screen it before we play it. At this level, there seems to be a little more, I don't want to say acceptance of different genres, but the older people in the crowd might think the music's too loud, or that I didn't come to a band concert or a concert. I've had people complain to me before, but the event's for the student athletes and your student body that you want to try and cater them and find genre that interests them. The portable speakers are huge. We have one up in our storage room, and some bring their own and set it underneath the basket. Baseball, Cutter would tell you, would have walkout songs, which is pretty cool, determining what those are. At the high school level, we had an app on the phone. Every kid that came up, you push their name and the 20-second blurb of their song would come out, and you want it to be cool. I mean, it does set the environment for the event. So I love music. It's an integral part of what we do. What do you think? What's the first song that you think of when you think of a sporting event that comes to your mind?
I'd have to say there's two that, as you've been talking, two that came to my mind automatically. You got AC/DC's Thunderstruck. That's always been a favorite of mine. And then, of course, Too Unlimited. Y'all ready for this? That always comes to mind. It's a lot of that Jock Jams kind of stuff.
Yeah, Jock Jams with a big CD.
It was, and they sold those like crazy too.
Because it's such an important part of the event. And now it's even, again, an administrative technique to pump up your crowd throughout the game, or, in my eyes, to minimize crowd levels of dissatisfaction, that you can drown them out a little bit by playing a song. And it's been proven that music helps you feel better. It helps you control your emotions. And that's why a lot of student athletes use it in warm-up music. AirPods now, they all have their own music. In the locker rooms, you can hear it blaring to get them pumped up. But there is a lot of research out there that it does help you control your emotions. One, it distracts you, but two, it might help you remember something good that will prepare you to succeed in a high moment of the contest.
Definitely, music pumps adrenaline just as much as anything. So, and I found the inappropriate thing, the comment there, that is very interesting, and the fact that as we were talking about Jock Jams, I was thinking of some of the songs that used to play on there, and I remember, whoop, there it is. That back in my day was considered inappropriate, but now you hear it, not a big deal.
Yeah, and that's the tough thing with music, is the different standard, the distinct taste that people have. As I mentioned, when you have an athletic event, you bring a lot of diverse people together, and mainly age, where some of the older people might not like the younger music that's heard. And there's some classics out there, Sweet Caroline, Eye of the Tiger, that you hear at Don't Stop Believin'. That's probably one of my favorite that you hear at a lot of athletic events.
Well, even Sweet Caroline's, though, that's got like a hollerback, and if you're in the wrong place, the hollerback has some pretty graphic lyrics, we'll say, or hollerback.
I believe one institution banned it.
Yes,
a large institution because of that.
Yeah. So, and you can't even win for that. I mean, Sweet Caroline, you don't get much more chilled out than that.
That's exactly right. In certain situations, you can't win. And to your point of what's appropriate, not appropriate, we all probably have our own set of values. I mean, there's probably a general set
values,
of standards.
And it changes with time.
It sure does. But it's cool. And it is an important part of the event. And some stadiums are known for the song they play. Like, I believe Wisconsin this year in football, I think they play Jump Around or Pump It Up, and the whole stadium is just rocking and shaking. And then at the University of Michigan, they play Mr. Brightside, and they play like the song for 30 seconds, and then they turn it off, and 100,000 people sing the chorus line.
Well, that's pretty cool.
It is cool. I mean,
Jump Around, I'm assuming you're talking about House of Pain, and that was another one that was not quite accepted back in the day. Yes, but great tune, and it definitely hypes up the crowd.
They are great tunes, and that's what you want, the environment to be a positive environment. It's not a band concert. We didn't come to a band. It's definitely an athletic event, but if you're clever enough, and it's a administrative skill, because you have your public address announcer that wants to talk too, so you have to balance when the music plays and when the public address announcer is supposed to speak, and how to coordinate that. And we've had issues where certain people were mad because they spoke over them, or the music played over the public address announcer. And good public address announcers know to try and balance that and let it play. And in some institutions, the public address announcer is in charge of the music. That way they can play it, and
certainly,
and definitely when they're done talking. So it's definitely an art of even managing throughout the game of when to play and when not to play, what not to play. And some are very funny and creative and tie right into the event. Like if there's a long video replay, they play the Jeopardy theme, and so it definitely is an integral part of athletic events. So I'm trying to do better here at LCC. We don't always consistently play, and I'd like to do more than that. I had some discussions with our music department last year about getting a pep band at our basketball games. And again, I mentioned that, there's some people that like that idea, and there's some people that want the music from a DJ or stereo system. But showcasing your student athletes or students is what it's about. And whether it's, your students singing the national anthem or having your pep band, we have our media class that live stream all our events. Jeff Hamlin does an excellent job with his classroom, and they have 4 cameras out there, and they live stream our basketball and volleyball games, indoor events. We're hoping to get them to do outdoor events in the future. But the same with the music department, that they can become an integral part of the athletic event, at least at certain contests. And they would play the classic songs and even the national anthem, which would take one task right off of me, because I'm the one on making sure my phone's on silent and I have the right song and not the one before or after playing. And now I use a chord, because last year twice when I Bluetooth it skipped in the middle of the song. So you just gotta. It's crazy how much time I do prepare.
Text from the wife, and right in the middle of the high note there.
Exactly. Anything can happen. You got to prepare for everything in this business, and music adds a whole nother level to that, and that's why some people don't use it, and we haven't utilized it to our advantage yet. And even across all sports, at cross country meets and track meets, they now have music in the background when they're running, and that's good. It usually helps you when you're running long distance. Obviously the easy ones are the basketball and volleyball ones indoor. Our baseball team, they play music in between innings and have walk-up music, and I'm hoping our softball team can get to that too. And again, some of it is that coordination with the public address announcer and them buying into that environment, and that's not always the case. Some public address announcers want to hear themselves talk and think it's about them, but fortunately here at LCC we have good ones that I think we can make it happen. So that's a goal of ours, to continue to integrate music into our athletic events. I meant to have it prepared here. We have a fight song here at LCC that I was going to play.
You should have said something.
And an alma mater.
If you give me a little time, I might be able to pull that up. We'll have to see.
It's an older version, and there has been discussion to modernize it. But how important fight songs are to sports teams, and they rate them every year. You play it after every big event at the athletic contest, so you rally behind it. It kind of goes with your brand and who you are and what you're known for, or whether you like it or don't like it, or you don't want to get caught up in the rivals fight song. But going through the archives, we did find that LCC had one that was developed back I think it was like the 50s or the 60s. Which athletics started in the late 60s here, so it was before.
The college itself was established in 57, so yeah, it had to be early 60s is what I'd guess.
And from the sound of it, it sounds like from that era too, especially, fight songs have a lot of different motives, and some are real like fast and energetic, and some are more, melodic and even keel. And I think that's more on the LCC side. We also have an alma mater that a lot of schools play at the end of their game for their alumni. The incident happened at Michigan State a couple weeks ago, and they had to go play at their rival Michigan right after that. They chose to play the alma mater instead of the fight song to try and balance that rivalry, yet the alma mater is a little more professional and classy, as opposed to the fight song is the more rah-rah music rendition. What's your go-to karaoke song, Daedalian?
My go-to karaoke song is because the only guy that I can sing like it all is Johnny Cash.
Oh.
It is. It's generally Ring of Fire, just because I love that one. But I've also been known to do Folsom Prison Blues every once in a while too.
Good stuff. Now I'm going to have that song in my head
through the help of modern technology, whenever you want to play the song, you let me know.
Okay, excellent.
Because we've got the Pep Song ready to go.
Excellent. We can end with that. Maybe,
all right, sounds good. Okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, it's that was it about, with your music background. I can't go without saying I'm a big Bon Jovi fan, so Living on a Prayer.
So is that your song when you do you do karaoke?
I love singing.
Okay.
I was in the choir a little bit too in high school. I went to a small school, so I was able to do all three: choir, band, and athletics. So I don't think I'm a singer, but I like to sing, and I have a hearing problem, so I don't always understand the lyrics, and my family gets mad at me because I make them up, and I think mine are sometimes better than the artist.
Well, first of all, I don't think that's a hearing thing. I think that almost any lyrics you can mess up. I can tell you there have been times I've been doing karaoke with somebody, and I'm like, oh, is that what they say there? I didn't know that. And I think almost anybody can attest to that.
That is true. And that's what's nice about Google, that you can go on and search the lyrics if you need understanding. And you're right. It's funny hearing what some people think they said, and it kind of catches, and it might stick with you. So again, just another way music is instrumental in our society and help, especially, coming out of a pandemic, and you saw all the musicians step forward and have concerts and sing, because it is good for the soul.
I will tell you that Steve Miller's Jungle Love, when I was growing up, I used to sing as a kid, Chug-a-Lug, Strawberry Man, he's driving me mad, he's making me crazy.
Isn't that great? And you remember that?
Chug-a-Lug.
Yeah, exactly. That's even sometimes better than the song.
I agree.
So, and even in today's society, whether you have one of the platforms like XM Radio or Apple Music or Spotify or Pandora, that you can tailor it like Greg Lattig's playlist or Bon Jovi Radio, and that CPR last week, and the instructor had Bon Jovi Radio on playlist on the computer. I'm thinking, he's getting a high rating for me. This is all good stuff. Keep playing all day, buddy. Forget the CPR, although that is life saving. This is good music.
I believe it is is CPR where you do the heart. Okay, so is it Queen's? I thought We Will Rock You. Is that what it is?
There's a couple. I thought it was
that you're supposed to go to the beat.
I thought it was Staying Alive.
That would make sense too.
Happy Birthday Twice, they said. There was seemed like the Queen song, maybe it was. And Queen's another great band that had a lot of nice athletic.
We will rock you. We are the champions. Yeah, we could go on.
And wow, they've again Queen's another.
And the one song I'm trying to think of it. It's kind of gotten a refreshed one. I don't know if it's actually been played at sporting events, but it's the. I can't even think of it. It'll come to me probably by the end of the show. But
and the other neat thing is I talk about how we tailor these radio stations to our platform, like 60s on the 6s. And the nice thing about athletic events is it's all genre. There's country music played at there. There's 80s rock. There's Eminem and AC/DC and rap. And it's pretty neat. It ties in a lot of different songs. Who would have thought that the songs we mentioned earlier would become popular at stadiums? They might not even been as popular on the radio. So
right.
Again, it's pretty cool that it can be different genre that are played at. It's not just one that everyone has to listen to throughout the athletic event.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to get tortured by them too. Do they still do tub thumping from Chumbawamba back in the day?
I don't know.
Greg's like, I got to look that one up.
Yeah, I do. But again, at each stadium, it can be either whoever's in charge of the music that determines that. But again, when I was at the hockey game, you could tell different songs that people were rallying behind, and YMCA or ones that are crowd entertainment, especially with video cameras now to get them dancing or something. So there's other motive there too for the entertainment of what music can provide.
Throw a little trivia at you. 1985, what song was done by a professional team? 1985.
Would have been the Bears?
Yeah. Super Bowl Shuffle.
Yeah, the Super Bowl Shuffle.
Right.
They had the Icky Shuffle from the Cincinnati Bengals. You're right. Even athletes have done their own songs.
Oh, yeah.
In the past. So that's what's cool. And that's what's neat when we talk about sports and music bringing together, but how much together they are without us even noticing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So good. That's, I think, all I had regarding music and how important it is at our athletic events at LCC and all athletic events across the country. So maybe we'll end with the fight song.
Yeah, we will. And I will say one more thing. When we put this podcast together, the podcast radio show, I should say, I gave you guys full license to go ahead and pick whatever intro song, and it fits well. And I will say that I had my doubts at first.
Interesting.
But I will tell you that every single time I walk out of here, I sing that song for at least a little bit longer after you guys have left. So you picked a good one.
That's good to hear.
Well done.
Well, you had a lot, and we wanted something catchy and something that kind of tied into sports. And you're right. I like it too. It has turned out well. And again, just another way music impacts you, because I'll be singing Ring of Fire the rest of the day. I love that song.
All right, let's finish up with that Pep song. This is taking you all the way back to, 1960 something, we think.
That's right. We'll find out.
It goes on for about another minute or so, but it's about a 2-minute song, and just a little bit of nostalgia from back in the day.
That is great stuff, and it's awesome that we have a fight song, and it'd be nice to get it out there. And I don't know if we need to update it or not, because I like the history of music too. So
well, you can definitely tell that was pulled off of vinyl there. So
hey, we love vinyl.
Classic 45 for you.
So
45 spin.
Well, again, this was an exciting conversation. You did an excellent job in filling in for Steven. So thank you to Daedalian for joining me today.
Happy to pitch hit. Did I get it right? Pitch hit? Yeah, okay, good.
Very good.
I can never remember if it's pitch or pinch.
Again, just like music, you do what you hear. Well, again, thanks for joining us, everybody. And until next time, go Stars. Stars on Sports is recorded live at the WLNZ studios. Engineering and production assistance are provided by Daedalian Lowry. You can listen to this episode and other episodes of Stars on Sports on demand at lccconnect.org. To find more information about our athletic program, visit lccstars.com. Thanks for listening. Go Stars!